Why a single scene shattered Captain America's long-standing image of justice. This was the first time Tony had been beaten so thoroughly, left completely defenseless. His opponent wasn't some ruthless villain, but a comrade who had once fought alongside him. The catalyst for this rift was a piece of classified footage devastating enough to tear Tony's sanity to shreds. He watched with his own eyes as his father's skull was crushed by the Winter Soldier's cold mechanical arm, and his mother Maria, gasping her last breaths, had her neck snapped by the Winter Soldier's grip. What destroyed him even more was that the friend he trusted most had known the truth all along, and had been covering for the killer. Tony clenched his fists and demanded answers from Cap. At first, Cap tried to make excuses, claiming he hadn't known before, but as Tony pressed him harder and harder, Cap finally hung his head and admitted the truth.
I didn't know it was him. Yes.
Out of respect for their shared history, Tony didn't go for the kill against Cap. Instead, he focused all his fury on eliminating the Winter Soldier. Just as he was about to succeed, Cap came rushing in. Tony had no choice but to fire 2 electric cables to bind Cap tightly in place. Then he grabbed the Winter Soldier by the throat. He planned to blow the Winter Soldier's head clean off, but his palm repulsor was crushed by that mechanical arm. The moment Cap broke free, he didn't hesitate for a second. He immediately told the Winter Soldier to run. Tony struggled to his feet to give chase, but Cap swung his shield and destroyed the flight stabilizer beneath his feet. All Tony could do was watch helplessly as the Winter Soldier's figure disappeared into the distance. Refusing to give up, Tony quickly adjusted and fired a missile to seal off the exit, successfully subduing the Winter Soldier. But just then, Cap came flying at him. All 3 of them tumbled from the heights together, crashing to the ground below. After being blocked again and again, Tony's patience ran out completely. He swung at Cap, and all his pent-up rage exploded in that moment. Bucky seized the opportunity to join the fight. He grabbed Cap's fallen shield, and together they ganged up on Tony. Even with his armor, Tony gradually lost ground against 2 super soldiers attacking in tandem. Fortunately, Tony spotted an opening in the battle. One powerful blast sent Cap flying. The battlefield instantly became a one-on-one between him and the Winter Soldier. Though the Winter Soldier was an enhanced super soldier, he knew full well he was no match for Tony. He gambled on trying to rip out the arc reactor from the armor, but Tony hit him square in the chest with a repulsor blast that severed his mechanical arm completely. He lost all ability to fight back, but just as the Winter Soldier went down, Cap charged in again. Tony tried to suppress Cap with an energy beam, but once it came down to close combat, Tony, lacking hand-to-hand advantages, immediately fell into a defensive position. Luckily, Friday immediately analyzed Cap's attack patterns. Just as Cap was getting into his rhythm, Tony suddenly grabbed hold of his shield. With a single move, Tony brought Cap to his knees. He gripped Cap's shoulder and slammed him hard against a pillar, his voice filled with desperate warning.
Sit down. Final one.
But Cap had only one thought in his head, saving Bucky. So Cap struggled up from the ground and assumed that familiar fighting stance, his eyes resolute as he said it. "I can do this all day."
I can do this all day.
Tony had no choice but to activate his repulsors, but the Winter Soldier grabbed Tony's leg, and Cap took advantage to launch a sneak attack, lifting Tony up and slamming him down hard onto a steel beam. Then, pinning Tony down, Cap unleashed a brutal assault on the armor. He hit harder and harder, until finally he raised his shield and brought it crashing down on the arc reactor at the armor's core. With an ear-splitting screech of tearing metal, the reactor was completely destroyed. As Cap pulled the Winter Soldier off the ground, preparing to leave with him, Tony, still lying there, said in a hoarse voice,
That shield doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
Without a moment's hesitation, Cap dropped the shield on the ground and disappeared into the ruins with the Winter Soldier, never looking back. In the empty facility, only Tony remained wearing his powerless armor, his face written with confusion and despair.